Couple years down the road, you are you're taking a walk, you know, humming your new favorite song that you just heard on the radio. DJ Jason Light was top counting down the top hits. So basically, DJ Jason Light does this thing where it's like counting down the quantum hits. And the quantum hits, basically what that means is he does a top 10 every night of like, what's tearing up the charts. However, he
Yeah.
does them from like several different time periods. So he'll do all right in like, 1989, this was number 10. Here's, the Rusted Cats with taking it to Love City. And now, after that, number nine on the chart in 1979, stuff like that. So,
So he does like a top 10, but he pulls them from various years.
like, oh, like it's all existing at once, man. And
Okay.
like, and what he'll do is, he'll play like a sound clip of like somebody like, smoking out of a bong,
Yeah. The bubbler.
the bubbler sound effect, which works because number eight. This is a few years down the road. So number eight in 2027 is the Bong Boys.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The bong boys.
doing their smash hit, "I've Got a Bong." So you're listening to what is the number
Bong,
one
I
hit.
got a bong, I got a bong.
You're listening to the number one hit of today, as counted down and compiled, presented, and edited by DJ Jason Light on WLANALAX on your FM dial. It's a song that goes a little something like this. It's by a band called it's by a dude named Freddie Spaghetti, aka Freddie Spaghetti and the Meatball Boys. And he does his song. Here I come, oh, when I say my words, I'm gonna say them all over the place, baby, baby. Here I come, and you're like, so you're singing your new favorite song as you're
It's not Pat.
as you're taking a walk through.
Freddy Spaghetti and the Meatball Boys.
Yeah, this is a few years down the road. They're number one, dude. I'm not saying they're
Before
here
we
to
start
stay.
recording, we ask each other, are you ready, Freddy Spaghetti? That's what we do before we record, just to ensure that we're both ready. You brought Freddy Spaghetti
Yeah,
into this.
and the
Jesus
Meatball
Christ, man.
Boys. And so, so they're
What's the
rocking
song
out.
called?
Uh, it's called "Here I Come," and then in parentheses when I say my words. Here I come. I want to say my words. I'm going to say them all over the place, baby, baby. Here I come. I want to say my words. All I want to do is love you, babe.
Oh
So you're
God. And this is my favorite song. Is it the only song, the only new song out ever?
no, it's not like that. It's just, there's something about that song. There's something about
Yeah,
that
be.
song playing when like the sun goes down over Terrywood Glen that really makes you feel
Oh no.
like fuck, man. Like you think for a second, you think to yourself, like, I could die for rock and roll. Like that's you ever listen to
What a rock
music and
guy.
it's you're a rock guy and
I'm a
those
rock
those
guy.
moments when it's just the right song for just the right circumstance. And that's what's happening with Freddie Spaghetti and the Meatball Boys. Here I come when I say my words. Number one. So you are walking around the shoe. The way that Terrywood Glen works is it's a neighborhood. If you were looking at it from above, if you had what you call a bird's eye view of Terrywood Glen, it would
Whatever,
look
what do you call it?
it looks just like it's shaped like a horseshoe, the streets.
Yeah.
It's like a main street where it looks like a horseshoe. And then you live, if you were looking at it as it was like a clock, you know, you live at about 11 o'clock on the shoe.
Okay.
Yeah. And like you call like you actually are in a house that's called, it's referred to as the 2 minutes to midnight house. So you're technically at 11,
Two
but you're,
minutes to midnight house.
yeah, you're close to midnight
Oh, like the
on.
fucking nuclear.
It's called that because the thing about this house that's kind of cool is that it actually comes with like a bunker underneath it.
Yeah,
Yeah. It
a
was,
bunker.
yeah, made to
And so is it
withstand.
below the basement even, or is there a
Hmm?
basement scenario?
It's below the basement.
Okay. In the bunker below the basement.
Yeah. 2 minutes to midnight in Terrywood Glen. So, you love living there. You love the community that's there. However, you notice that like you've been walking for a minute singing "Here I Come when I say my words," and
I'm not
you've
singing.
realized like time to turn around. You're starting to hit the part of Terrywood Glen that you know you're just not as big a fan of. It's not as nice as the
Yeah.
rest of it. So there's like some like roads that like go in between the horseshoe, you know,
Yeah.
horizontally, and so it's like they're not they're just it's just not as nice, and the people there are sort of I can't really you can't point out exactly why you don't like these guys, but there's just something about these fucking people that you're just kind of like, I'll just leave them to their own devices. And it's not just you. Everybody who lives on the shoe of Terrywood Glen, they all kind of feel that way. They all
About these
kind of,
people.
yeah, they look down on the people who exist in between the shoe.
Yeah.
So they're still part of Terrywood Glen, but they're definitely seen as, second class citizens almost.
That sucks.
Yeah, I mean, you don't feel good about yourself, but like when that happens, but you've also found that the longer you live there, the more you're kind of okay with it. So you turn back around, walk back to 11:58 on the shoe. And you go in, you sit down, you fire up your laptop computer. You call it Old Labby because you've always thought that it was called a laptop, not a laptop. So you've been
So
calling
called
it
what? Lab
Old Lab,
laptop.
Old Labby
Just a fat way to say laptop.
laptop. And so you fire up Old Labby and
Old labby sucks.
you're
Jesus.
really? Why? I think
Yeah.
it's
Old labby. My laptop.
yeah, you thought it was called that because you're like, it's like a laboratory, like using
No,
computers in a laboratory type of deal.
I sold computers at a commission sales job. I know how to say the word laptop.
And the only real complaint that your supervisors ever had is that you always call it a laptop. And they're like, it's a
That is not
laptop.
true.
And you're like, no, yeah, whatever, I know. And they're like, okay, then say it when you're doing it. And you're like, look, they bought it anyway, didn't they? You know, you always kind of had like a weird relationship with the supervisors there because of that. But so old Labby is fired up, and log into you log into your merch store. You've been selling a lot of like cool merch lately. In
Oh
addition,
yeah,
yeah, in addition to your shirt, your famous shirt, I Fat Red,
yeah.
and your
Where I tried
mug
to write
that's
I farted, but I misspelled the word farted. I'm having a lot of issues with words in this episode so far.
yeah, it's supposed to be I farted, but you fucked up and it says I Fat Red. So you're selling those, after shows and stuff like that. You're selling coffee mugs that say "Don't talk to me until I've squirted." You've got you're actually selling like nipple covers with your with your face on them too, like winking.
That's awful. Why would
And
you
you
do that
have
to why would you do that to somebody? Why would you wear those so that somebody has to see that in that setting?
I mean, look, you're not asking why people are buying the nipple covers with your face on it. You're just asking them for their credit card information. That's all you fucking care about.
Jesus.
You also, the one that's doing the best is you have a T-shirt where it's President Nixon,
Oh
and he's
no.
about to get onto like a helicopter, to like leave forever or whatever. And he's like putting up the peace sign, and it says in quotes underneath it, "I am not a cuck,"
Matt,
and it is doing gangbusters.
I told you that in confidence. We're gonna make that shirt available at the LanalaxCorporation.com. We're gonna make that tonight, probably. I am not a cock.
I am not a cuck, and that one is doing pretty well, you know. And the same thing, you don't ask people why they're buying it. All you matters to you is that people are buying it and they're enjoying it, you know? You don't know why anyone would want a shirt that says that, but you're like you're giving the people what they're willing to pay for, you know?
Yeah.
The reason that you've been selling more merch is that so you have a new job. You're doing like you're almost like a news reporter.
What do you mean almost like a news reporter? Am I a news reporter? Do I have like a blog or something? What am I doing?
So you are covering
A
the
vlog?
profession. You're covering the professional chess world for TMZ.
Why the fuck does TMZ care about chess? And how does that correlate with me selling t-shirts with Richard Nixon saying I am not a cuck on it?
So because people are
Available at
seeing
the LanalaxCorporation.com.
people are seeing your face a lot more, because of this. Like you're
This
an
is visibility.
on-screen, yeah, you're an on-screen a media personality for the chess world. So I don't know if you've been paying attention lately, Aaron, but there in real life, there's been a
I
lot
have
of
not.
like crazy stuff happening in the chess world, and you figured out like, look, this is gonna like the people. Do people watch reality TV because they really care about like the people, the characters? Not really. They do it for the drama. The
For
delicious,
ourselves.
the delicious drama.
The delicious, juicy drama.
And people when and so people when they are tuning into you covering the chess world, it's as if they are biting into the juiciest T-bone steak of drama they've ever had in their fucking life. I'm talking like dribbling down the chin, brother.
Oh, gross.
Metaphorically.
Oh, okay, okay.
Though
Dramatic, juicy drama.
Though you have like a recurring thing where like people who are like really big like Brooks heads, they will watch this and they'll actually like when it's your segment of TMZ, they'll time it so that like they'll be like eating like dinner during it. You know what I mean? It's like a thing they do. It's like they're all eating juicy steak. The real Brooks heads. The
Isn't this like an
people who
organized thing?
yeah, oh, of course it's an organized thing. Yeah, it's a thing where like the your fans, the fans of this, they call themselves the Brooks Society. And what the Brooks Society does is they have, online meeting places where they hang out and they talk about the show and they talk about the chess world and all of the juicy chin drizzling drama that is coming out of that
Oh,
world. Because there's some
gross.
crazy stuff happening. And so they'll get together and they'll discuss it and they'll go, oh, did you guys, they'll make memes about it and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And they'll go, oh, did you see, hey, they'll have a thing called the Aaron Brooks line of the episode. And so they're all discussing that. People will be like, my favorite was when, he was talking about, Chuck Magnuson, chess master from Iceland, and how he is
Chuck
dating.
Magnuson.
Yeah, he is dating his opponent's stepdaughter. And and your line from that was like, huh, they should make a movie out of that. I think people would like it. And you wink, and people are just like, they like, and like the people, the Brooks heads and the Brooks Society go crazy for stuff like that because you can push the envelope a little bit. You can definitely do double entendres. It's TMZ, and it's the chess world. They're all adults and they're all party animals. And so anybody who has been paying attention to the chess world knows that things are getting a little, a little, I'm not going to say seedy, but definitely like
A little
borderline.
salacious.
Yeah, it's like, some people, like there's one guy in the chess world, people call him like the Nero of chess because this guy has a very sordid personal life, you know?
What do you mean? What do you mean? Very. How does a chess guy have a very sordid personal life?
He regularly uh releases sex tapes of himself in like different, it's always in a different country, and the woman's face is always blurred out, but his is not.
Checkmate, you know? So we see his face, but not the
Yeah.
woman.
Yep.
That
And so
sucks.
it's
That sucks.
and at the end
I
of
don't
it,
want to watch. I don't want
he
to
gives
watch a
like chess tips. Well,
chess
you don't
match.
have to. I'm just saying that
Wait,
like
wait, hang on.
what?
You just said at the end of it, he gives chess tips.
Yeah, he talks about like
So he releases an adult film with him and a woman with a blurred out face.
uh-huh.
And at the end of it, he just hangs out and teaches you about chess.
Yeah, it's like intercut throughout it. Like he talks about
What?
chess and the history of chess. He's even though he has, this there's definitely some weird stuff going on with him. He's a pretty articulate dude. Like he knows how to, he knows how to express his mind. And the thing that he is passionate about is chess, you know? And so the sex tapes are just for notoriety to keep his name out there. But what keeps him going is chess and chess history. So he'll be like, yo, on today's date, you know, Edwin Thorgood defeated the mysterious being known only as Michael in 1978.
What the fuck?
So in 19 so in 1978 there was this like it's an interesting year to look back on
Yeah.
because for the entire year from like literally from January 1st to the last day of December, the chess world was dominated by this this kind of being known only as Michael. He was a clearly like an extraterrestrial being who had kind of taken human form, but it was clear this guy was some kind of like otherworldly figure. You know what I mean? This was from like something from beyond the stars, And it came to Earth to play chess, and it whooped ass the whole year, except at the end when it was finally defeated by Edwin Thorgood, and no one ever saw him again. The being known only as Michael, and people would go like, "Well, Michael, like when he first registered to do chess, he just wrote down Michael as his name, and they're like, "Well, what's your last name?" And he's like, "I'm only Michael." And everyone's like, "Whoa, who is this guy?" And the more mysterious he was, the more interesting he became, the more attention he brought to himself. And so no one really knows what happened to him after he was, finally vanquished on that cold, cold evening in December. But some of his strategies are still used today. The being known only as Michael.
I don't give a flying fuck about anything that happens in the competitive chess world, even if it is done by a being from beyond the stars.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is that like you've since become pretty passionate about it because there are some pretty interesting figures out there today, and you're making a damn good living at it, and you are moving some fucking merch. You're also starting to do like a live like a live interview series with like the major figures in chess. And this one isn't quite as salacious as the way your coverage on TMZ. TMZ, they're looking for a certain spice, and you know how to provide that spice. But over here on your podcast called Talking Chess with Aaron Brooks, you are a bit more of like your actual personality and yourself, and you're doing real interviews. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
talking chess, you're talking to, you get Gary Kasparov or whatever that fucking guy's name is. You get him on there.
Yeah.
You get there's like this young chess phenom. His name is Mike. And Mike, not a
What's
lot
his
is known
last name?
about him. No one's really sure yet because he's just
Is
like
this
a
Michael again? Is he back from Beyond the Stars? Wait, is this a fucking 50-year thing or something?
no.
Are you fucking
You're
kidding
like
me?
so you're going to interview, and that's the thing. Not a lot is known about this guy because he's like chess. The chess Instagram stuff has like gotten pretty big in a couple years down the road. So like his username is just chess guy Mike, and it's just him doing like cool moves and people reacting to them. Oh shit, like that's how he's like kind of gotten big is that people do reaction videos to his moves because he is like this guy is like a heart of fucking ice, this kid. Nothing affects him emotionally. Like there's footage of like his opponents like begging for their lives.
Begging? What
Well,
the
yeah, I
fuck?
mean,
What happened to Michael?
he's gone.
But this guy's
No one
name is
knows.
Mike.
His name is Mike, and you're going to interview him. And so you guys meet up. You meet up at a coffee shop in downtown Los Angeles
What's it called?
called it's called um C period U period P period. Coffee under Providence. And it's a Christian themed
Oh no.
coffee shop. And
I don't want
you're
to go
not
there. I don't
so
want to
you're
go
not
there.
necessarily yeah, you're not necessarily a man who goes to church or whatever, but they have their coffee
I don't drink coffee.
is incredible. And like to the point where like you go there and like you get it and like you take a sip and you walk up and you go like, "Hey, I just got to ask you guys, was this coffee made with holy water or something? It's great." And like they kind of look at you and they're like, "We're not Catholic." And you're like, "All right." You sit back down. So you're there to
Never going back
interview.
there. You could never go back there at that point. I don't drink coffee. I am not a Christian, and I think that places that advertise themselves as like Christian establishments are
Yeah.
probably, run by pieces of shit
Yeah. So
in a
the
lot of
thing
cases.
in some cases, yeah. But I mean, these guys, that coffee is just so fucking good that you honestly, a part of you does believe it's made with holy water. Blasphemous as that would be. So you sit down with Mike. He's sitting across from you. He he's like, "Oh, hello, Mr. Brooks. Nice to meet you." What's the first question you'd ask him?
Would say, what feeling do you get when you look out your window and you see the moon, Earth, and then the sun in a straight line together? What does outer space feel like? That's what I would ask him. What does
He
outer
goes,
space smell like?
he goes, "Well, the thing about outer space is that there definitely is a certain smell to it, but it's almost more like an absence of smell, really." Then he goes, "I mean, that's what I would assume." His face turns red.
I'd say, how long you been playing chess, Mike?
He goes, "Oh, well, it's kind of hard to really put together math wise because of all No, I mean, since I was three. So,
Because
uh,
people don't really know much about you.
he's
So
like, I just love chess, man.
how many years is that, if you don't mind me asking?
He goes, "Oh, I'm 17 years old, Daddy."
So you've been playing chess for 14 years?
He goes, "Yep."
You're not somebody who left this planet and came back 50 years later?
And he's like, "Huh?" And he looks down at his phone and he goes, "Hey, sorry, I have to take this." And like goes outside and pretends to be talking on a phone. He just like leaves.
As he leaves, I would be like, "What kind of craft did you use? Where's your craft?"
And he goes, and like as he walks out, he like looks over his shoulder at you, and he goes, "It's located in, excuse me, it's located in Angel Falls." I mean, it's not. I don't what. And then like walks out. He doesn't even finish the
Yeah,
sentence.
I'm on to you, Michael. I scream that at him as he walks away. I'm on to you, Michael. I don't trust this guy.
So Mike leaves, and you're going to like tomorrow is like his first big like tournament. You know what I mean? He's in this tournament being put on by the Lanalax Corporation. It's like a whole like chess thing. You know, the winner gets they get one wish granted. So you're like, all right, so you're gonna like go cover that or whatever. You start like driving home, and you kind of like remember what the kid said as he was like leaving really quickly. He told you like the location of his like spacecraft, and you're kind of like, huh, Angel Falls. Where is that? And you kind of like look it up, and it's about a 45-minute drive away from where you're heading. Would you go?
Absolutely not. No. I want to observe Mike. I
Yeah.
want to get close to him. I want to watch him. I want to
So
wait for him to slip up.
the next day is like the chess tournament or whatever. So like you're like, all right, time to go home. Get a good night's sleep. You go home, you dream of a howling void, you wake up the next day, ready to cover this fucking chess tournament. And the gimmick that you do is you when you go out to these things, you dress up like a old school reporter. You know, we have like the hat with like the little thing that says press in it. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, yeah.
Super old school. And so that's what you wear. And so you know, you go there and you watch this kid, Mike, like just dismantle opponent after opponent after opponent. And there are times when you look at him that you could swear that like in the middle of his forehead you see like a red pulse for like just a second.
What the fuck is going on with this guy?
But it's like you're the only one. If anyone else notices, they don't say anything.
This is insane to me.
So you're watching this and you're like, this is fucking crazy. And so the chess tournament is in a high school. It's called Stone Throw High School.
Stone throw.
Yeah, so it's the oldest school in California, where the history of it is that like, you know, a long time ago like settlers went there or whatever, and they're like, here is where we shall found a town or whatever. And they're like, but where will be the schoolhouse? And he'll go, and then the guy's like, this is the legend at least. He's like, the schoolhouse will be wherever this stone lands. And he takes it and like threw it. You know what I mean? And where it landed, well, it bounced off a guy's head and killed him. But where the rock landed,
Jesus Christ.
where the stone landed, is where they built that high school. So you're kind of like,
A
there's
man
like a little bit.
died.
You so you're kind of like there's like a break in the tournament, and you're like this is fucking weird. You're like no one's gonna like comment on how strange this fucking kid is. You know what I mean? Uh, and so you're kind of like going for a walk through the high school. You're not really paying attention to what you're doing. You're kind of like thinking about like the piece you're gonna write later. You know?
Sure.
And you kind of hear like this weird like noise, and you're like, "What the hell is that?" And you turn the corner and you realize like, "Oh, you're walking into where like the orchestra plays or like the band plays of high school, like whatever. You know what I'm talking about?"
Yeah. Yeah.
And you walk in, and sitting in this room, sitting at like this enormous, it looks like a church organ type of deal. And he's just like, it's just there's like this weird like figure sitting there
Yeah.
and like playing it. And he's playing that song The Baby Elephant Walk.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he's playing that. And you walk
That's
in and you're
weird.
like, yeah, and you're like, what? And this guy turns around and this guy is dressed like a like what the way you would imagine like an old school like Parisian like nobleman is dressed like, you know what I mean? Like just
Yeah.
very fancy and stuff like that and he looks at you and he's wearing like a mask, and he goes, "Hello, Aaron. My name is Sebastian Silence." And
Oh,
when he
fuck.
says when he says the word silence, like five guys pop up out of nowhere and they all go shh and then like disappear again.
God, I hate that bit so much.
One of them steps in from like the clearly it's like the band director's office. You know what I mean? The band director
Yeah.
has all these like posters up of like Van Halen and shit. He comes in, he goes
Okay.
shh, and then like goes back in and closes the door. A guy pops out of where they like the instrument storage space, goes shh, like disappears, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Aaron, I'd like to talk to you about Mike. Do you have a minute?"
Yeah. What?
He goes, "Aaron, I have reason to believe that our young friend is not who he says he is."
Yeah.
He goes, "Aaron, I have reason to believe that he has some very not good plans for this planet." And he goes, "Aaron, will you join me? Will you join me and help me defeat Mike? Will you become one of my Knights of Silence?" And when he says the word silence, five different men from five different locations pop up and they all go, shh, and then like disappear again.
No. No, absolutely not. I operate alone. I don't want anything to do. I don't want to be a knight of silence. Those guys suck.
And when you say that, five different guys pop up and
Oh
go, shh,
no.
and like disappear again.
No, absolutely not.
He goes, "Aaron, it is of the utmost importance for
No,
you to,"
I don't care.
he goes, "I mean, like look at what you could be," and like and he kind of like winks at you, like the mask winks at you, and you look down and like suddenly you're dressed like an old school Parisian nobleman. You know what I mean? You feel like a swashbuckler.
I don't want this. I don't want no. The answer is no.
And he goes, "Are you sure, Aaron?"
Yeah, I'm very sure. I don't want to be one of your knights.
He goes, "Okay." He turns back to his like organ and he starts playing again. So like you turn around, you walk away. He's playing "I'm going down, down in an early round, and sugar we're going down swinging," and like you're
Going
mouthing the
down
words as you
swinging.
walk away. Because even though you don't really like this dude, you gotta admit he can fucking play that goddamn organ. So you walk back to the
Playing Fall Out Boy on the organ.
and so you walk back to the gym where they're doing the main thing, and it's like the final match of the tournament.
Yeah.
It's Mike against this other younger guy, probably in his early 20s or whatever. You don't even know his name. That's how inconsequential this guy is. And the game only goes about like 15 minutes before you're like, he's about to put this motherfucker in checkmate.
Yeah.
And this guy is doesn't even see it coming. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like for every move that this guy does, Mike has an answer for. And so he does one move, and you can see as he moves his the horse, the knight.
Yeah.
Even though you've been covering the chess world for like months at this point, you still think of it as a horsey, not as a knight. And so he takes the
Horsey.
horsey, yeah, the horsey, and like does its weird little L-shaped thing, and you see like just a slight smile on this kid's face as he moves his horsey, because he thinks like, oh, I've done it. And you look at it, and normally, like, yeah, this would be like a fantastic move. You know what I mean? Rocking that horse. But this kid has the answer for it immediately. He slides his queen across the board, and he looks up and he goes, checkmate. And the second that he takes his fingers off of his queen, suddenly like this like all these gigantic like portals pop up around him,
What the fuck?
and he goes, come on through, boys. And so like the alien invaders, from beyond the stars rush through these portals.
You fucking
So
kidding me?
so it turns out that these are like these weird, like almost like elder beings, but they couldn't interact with our dimension or whatever, our frame of dimension or whatever, however you want to put it. They couldn't get through until a certain amount of like chess games were won by
So
one of the
fucking dumb, guys.
representatives.
So
And
fucking
so
stupid. I
finally
can't believe that.
he's able to do it. And so the alien beings from beyond the stars, you can't really talk to them or reason with them. It's almost like they're a completely different species. So like their view of things are way different. So they end up, enslaving the world and
Yeah.
sucking it dry of all of its resources. It takes about 7 years before the entire world is reduced to like a husk. And you know, human beings as a species are forgotten.
Great. Oh well. Who fucking cares?
You should have went with Sebastian Silence
No. Why didn't he do anything?
because he needs your help. And you just
Fuck him.
you let the Earth get destroyed by
Yeah,
cosmic
fine.
gods just because of your fucking pride, dude.
Are you kidding me? I wanted nothing to do with that jack off.
You go down in history as well, the
Who
remaining,
cares?
7 years of human history
Yeah,
as the prideful man.
whatever.